Welcome to The Real Review, sponsored by Parametric and Lazy Ape Studios, where you get some of the latest happenings, real thoughts, and perspectives in the world of film and television. And this is our coming soon end news segment. This is where we talk about all the films. They're going to be coming out this weekend, right, Matt?
Yes.
Yes, and news, but I don't think we have any news, do we?
No big breaking news, not this week.
Not for us, because we've got 3 films to talk about.
Yes.
Talking about Jigsaw, Suburbicon, and Thank You for Your Service.
Grazie.
Yes, so why don't we just get right into it?
Let's dive, man.
There you go. So the first film we're going to be talking about is a little old film called Jigsaw.
Yeah.
This is a synopsis for this one. Bodies are turning up around the city, each having met a uniquely gruesome demise. As the investigation proceeds, evidence points to one suspect, John Kramer, a.k.a. the Jigsaw Killer.
Yep.
The man known as Jigsaw, who's been dead for 10 years. Its directors, 2 of them, Michael Spierig, I can't pronounce that, and Peter Spierig.
Yep.
It's got
the bros.
Yeah, it's got a interesting cast. I don't really recognize most of them. Matt Passmore as Logan Nelson, Callum Renee as Detective Halloran, Clay Bennett, Hannah Emily Anderson, Laura Vandervoot, Brittany Allen, Tobin Bell is reprised. That's kind of like the biggest, most recognizable name that I see there. And Paul Braunstein as Ryan.
Yo, yeah.
Matt, thoughts on the Jigsaw film?
I'm more curious about potentially seeing this movie because I want to see how they explain these murders happening again.
Yeah.
Or technically he wouldn't say that they're murders, actually.
Yeah.
Or abductions, I guess you could say. But yeah, because in the first 7 film run, he died in the 3rd one.
Mm-hmm.
And
gruesomely, my dad.
Right. And the 4 through 7 kind of they played with time a little bit, and they took place concurrently to and before the events of that too. So I could see how they could maybe jump from that to this. You know, he's been dead 10 years. I mean, obviously they found his body, but I'm not sure how they would continue that legacy in some way, shape, or form, especially with a voice recording. You know, unless they're like, oh, I hacked it, and now I have I can mimic anybody's voice, or something like Mission Impossible style. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see it. The one thing that I don't like about this is it looks like it's another fun house, where the people are forced to go a specific way, and each room is some sort of death chamber where one person has to die before they can all move on.
Right, which we saw in
we've seen a couple of them. There's been a couple of them.
Yeah, the second one was the first one.
Well, the second one was
they were
actually,
kind of in a house.
Right, so the second one I liked because they were in a house and they could choose where to go.
Right. And
then they first did it, I think it was
3.
It may have been 3.
Was it 3?
No, it was 4. So anyway, one of those...
Yeah. 4 was the main guy, the one guy that was going through with all the different people in the different rooms, and he had to choose if he was going to save him or kill him. Was that,
that was
4
later.
Or was that 5?
That was 6 or 7, actually.
I think that was 5 because I never saw past.
It all blends together.
Because I don't think I ever saw past 5. Because
the problem with that is though, it's not. It's forced. I liked in the second one how they got to choose where to go, and then things would just happen. That would just happen. Yeah. I like that element. This one's very are we gonna direct these people into? It's non-open world for you gamers out there.
I mean, I gotcha. The horror genre. This was one of the first ones, the first Saw was one of the first horror series that I kind of got involved in, and probably the biggest that I've ever sort of continued on with. I got up to, I think, 5, and then it just got to be too much, too ridiculous for me. And the thing that bogged down the films for me after a certain point was the whole tension of the successor of Jigsaw. Right. The whole who's going to take over after Jigsaw's dead because he's got to have a successor, and who they're going to be.
It's it was going to be Amanda for a while.
Right. And I got that kind of burned me on the series because I was really just there to see and not to see the people get tortured, but to see how they kind of work their way out of it, hopefully, or kind of figured out how to get through the game. And you knew they were going to fail. That's the sad part of it, but you kind of were still hoping. That's part of what the movies were so good for. But then I got bogged down by all that, and it kind of got boring. Yeah. And that's why I'm not super excited about this, because that was my least favorite element of the prior movies was who is Jigsaw doing this, or is it Amanda, or is it who's taking over for him?
Right. So Amanda was she died in 2, in 3. But I think that first of all, first Saw is really good. Right. I really like the first Saw a lot,
and it, in a lot of ways, was a very light horror movie. It wasn't a really horror film. I mean, there was horrific aspects.
Saw 2 was decent.
Yeah.
And everything else after that I didn't really care for as much.
Right.
But this, I am interested. I just want to see how they bring it back.
Yeah.
The last Saw they did, Saw 3D, the 7th one,
right,
was like the gimmick of 3D, and they just did a lot of like silly things.
Okay.
And
I just got tired of the whole torture porn genre, which is what these are considered from what I've heard. That's like I've just gotten really tired of the whole like, let's see how gruesomely bad we can torture innocent people for the most part. And I think some of them definitely did bad things in the movie, but it got old to me. Yeah. So I'm not looking forward to watching this or checking it out personally.
I kind of want to see it, but it's not like high up on my list either. If I had to rate my excitement level 1 to 10, probably be at like a 5.
Okay. I'm closer to like a 2. Okay. 2.5. But there we go. Cool. And I will mention this. The directors aren't really known for much of anything.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a shot in the dark, I think, for the directors. The writers, I think the biggest thing that the writers got involved in was Piranha 3D. So they do have some horror writing experience. Yeah. But I don't know. Not saying too much for me there. All right. Next film then. It's a film called Suburbicon. This film is directed by George Clooney, and the brief synopsis for this is: a home invasion rattles a quiet family town. It stars George Clooney. Matt Damon, George Clooney's director. Julianne Moore, Noah Jupe, Oscar Isaac, Glenn Fleshler, and those are like the big names.
Yeah, Jack Conley's in there.
Jack Conley's in there. Yes. So, what are your thoughts on this one?
I'm just kind of meh.
Yeah.
Not really looking forward to it a lot. I haven't been a huge Clooney as a director fan.
Yeah.
Thus far.
Yeah. Leatherheads was all right. I didn't see what was the other one? The Monument Men?
Did he do that one?
I believe he did Monument Men. Yeah. I didn't see that one.
Yeah. So I just kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
I do like the idea of Matt Damon doing like some comedy stuff, but I haven't really liked him in comedy stuff.
Yeah.
I like the idea of it, but I haven't really seen a lot of it.
So this one is the thing that's interesting about this one is it's written by the Coen brothers.
Right.
Well, they were contributing writers for it, and it's rated R for violence, language, and some sexuality.
Sure.
It's considered a genre of comedy, but it's got the violence and language and sexuality. So it almost in the trailer, it looked like a weird, horrific comedy almost. Like the way that they're portraying some of the violence is very intense.
Yeah.
So I don't know really what to make of it.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. It's a little confusing too about what's happening exactly.
Like, is it a family comedy drama? Is it looks like it's kind of got a lot of action in there kind of mixed in. Obviously he's trying to kind of defend himself, I'm guessing, against mobsters, Matt Damon's character.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, ratings wise, it's not doing amazing at the moment. It's at like a 5.4 out of 10 average rating. It's like a 40% score on Rotten Tomatoes.
On Rotten Tomatoes, 40. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's not the greatest metric for it. Yeah. I'll probably, like, out of all the ones that are coming out this weekend, it's probably the higher of the bunch.
Yeah, it's not for me. I'd rather see Jigsaw.
Well, I will say that I do like that they're making something that's a little bit different. This has a bit of a different feel, and I haven't quite put my finger on exactly what I could compare it to. It definitely has a George Clooney-esque feel.
Yeah, it feels kind of like that Coen Brothers / George Clooney. Like they kind of have not a similar vibe, but there's something in the style there.
Yeah.
I felt it kind of like when I first remember watching like Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yeah.
Monuments Men, even like some of the humor.
Right.
I don't know if it's a George Clooney thing.
George Clooney has like almost I don't even know how to explain it. I should do more of research, do some more research on the style, but it's like a serious slapstick.
Yeah.
It's like silly, but he approaches it in a very serious way.
Yeah.
And people are very serious about it, so it's almost like it's not slapstick.
Yeah.
But it is.
Yeah.
And some people like it and some people don't. So I don't know. I'll probably check it out. Matt Damon usually is decent in everything that I've seen him in, so there you go.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Cool.
So what segment?
4.
4.
Yeah.
Maybe 4.5.
Okay.
5 or something like that. A little bit higher than Jigsaw for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Then the last movie we're going to be talking about is a little old film called Thank You for Your Service. This one is a group of U.S. soldiers returning from Iraq struggles to integrate back into family and civilian life while living with the memory of a war that threatens to destroy them long after they left the battlefield. Director for it is Jason Hall. couple big stars in there, but the biggest is probably Haley Bennett and Miles Teller. Also Keisha Castle Hughes and Amy Schumer is somewhere mixed in there randomly.
I don't remember seeing her in the trailer. But.
Yeah, I didn't see her in the trailer either. So it'll be interesting maybe to see kind of where she pops up in the film. Because it's definitely not a comedy. It's a drama. So what are your thoughts?
I mean, it looks obviously it's addressing a very serious topic and of, you know, soldiers and what they have to go through and what they bring back with them.
Yeah. Definitely PTSD-esque type situations happening.
And basically the family dynamics and the reconciliation, restoration, and all that stuff that has to come along with it. And obviously all the turmoil, drama, and conflict that has to be resolved or potentially just at least worked through during the film. It looks like it's well done.
Yeah.
Miles, big week for Miles Teller. Big week, 2 weekends. I mean, last week he had Only the Brave.
Right.
This week he's got this movie. So big couple weeks for him.
So directing wise, interestingly enough, this is his directorial debut. I'm sorry, debut. But he did write a few other films, the biggest of which was American Sniper.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's
so
right.
Jason Hall's getting his feet wet, I guess, in the world of directing.
Right,
so,
they are promoting that pretty heavily for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, it looked. I don't know. There's something. This is tough to say because it sounds mean, but it's like there's just something about these movies that maybe because I haven't lived in that world and I haven't experienced a lot of that.
Sure.
There's just a disconnect that I have with it. I appreciate films like this absolutely for documenting that and maybe bringing that more into like and there can be some really complex drama and tension from it. So I appreciate in that metric, but it doesn't resonate with me on a personal scale as much. Again, not to sound rude to any of the people that are going through anything with this.
Film may very well help bridge that gap too, you know? I mean,
and for that sense, I can appreciate it.
For sure.
So, and Miles Teller's, I'm a mixed bag with him.
Yeah.
For the most part, I like him, but, you know, sometimes he's... But most of the time, that's the projects he tends to take on more than like Fantastic Four and stuff.
Yeah.
That wasn't really his part. Yeah, Fan Four Stick.
Yep.
So what, any...
No, I think, I don't know, I am interested.
Yeah.
I am interested. It looks like a heavy watch.
It does feel like a heavy watch.
Yeah, so it would be something that like might, for me, being the emotional one, might affect me for a while, but we'll see. I don't know if I had to rate it, maybe like a 5.5 or a 6, and interested in seeing it somewhere in there.
I'm probably similar level to where I am with Suburbicon.
Yeah, it's kind of the calm before the storm because the week after this one's gonna get crazy. But we'll see.
Yeah, they're probably trying to not put anything out that they're, you know, gonna need to worry about competition with too much. Next weekend. So,
right.
Yeah. So anyway, some good ways to get connected here on the podcast. We'll go ahead and wrap things up. RealReviewMedia.com is our website. We've also got our Facebook, which is Facebook.com/RealReviewMedia. We'd love to get connected to you on both those platforms. Also, we have Instagram, we have Twitter. Both are at Real Review Media, and we'd love to hear from you, your thoughts and perspectives on any of these films. I'm sure Matt and I will not be able to see all three of them this weekend, but we'd love to hear what your thoughts, if you get a chance, are for these films. So,
totally.
Yeah, drop us an email, realreviewmedia@gmail.com. Anything else, Matt?
No, that's it.
All right. Well, then, it's a quick one, but it's been real.
It's been real.